This meeting of the Board of Education is now called to order. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting this evening on the first day of fall. Trustee Novaria and Trustee Crawford send their regrets. We'll get started by approving our agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda as printed? Then a motion is in order on page 2, please.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the agenda as printed.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes, and we'll start where we always do with the superintendent's report. Johnny?
Thank you, President Van Antwerp. Just prior to our start of the bond project update, just wanted the board and community to know we sent out a press release about some upcoming engagement sessions, one about our 2025 bond. Those dates and times have been published. We'll do a informational night followed by a self-guided tour at both Central and Haverhill. And then in addition to that, we encourage the community to come out to some listening and learn sessions. We'll hold those at the Portage Zane Senior Center. But that information has gone out, and I want the board and the community to be aware that all are welcome to attend either the listening and learn sessions or the bond informational sessions.
Good.
So after that, we have 3 portions to our superintendent update. Russ will handle the first part with our bond construction update. Paula Johnson will follow with the 2019 unallocated contingency. Russ will come back to talk about our floods app.
Good evening, Board. Superintendent Edwards. Just kind of give you a quick construction update. We talked last time. We're going to kind of go through the 2 elementaries that are almost complete. The first elementary is Portage Central Elementary, the Mustangs. And last we talked, we said they were going to be working on the hardscape and landscape outside the building. As you can tell, those are coming along nicely. You see a lot of the softscapes planted, the bark's in, the curbs are all in, and essentially you're starting to see grass grow. So this is the front of the building looking towards the main office there, the main entrance. It's coming along very nicely, very happy with the progress there. The trailer on the side of the building has been removed since the last board update, and the 2 side landscapes are also in as well there, and just waiting for grass to grow, which we all know takes time. And then a few more little touches up here and there on the hardscapes, and the building is ready to go for landscaping. They're still finishing up some of the punch list items inside the building, those type of things. That'll be ongoing here probably for a few more months yet, but the building's looking really well over at Central. Haverhill is just a little bit behind. We had the same landscape company doing both projects. They won both bids, so they're kind of going back and forth between each one. Central's a little bit further ahead right now than Haverhill. But Haverhill's, the hardscapes and landscapes are in the front of the building. This is the front entryway. You can still tell everything's up and running. They're tweaking the sprinkling system, so once that gets going, you'll start seeing grass pop up a little bit faster than it is right now. The storm last night helped, and the rain we're probably going to get throughout the week will help as well. But until that sprinkling system gets on, the grass will be a little slower starting up. We're hoping to get that started soon because we know it's a really good growing season right now for grass. This is the side of the building next to the cafeteria, the outdoor learning spaces, the outdoor area next to the cafeteria. You can tell right there that is sprayed on grass seed there. It's kind of a grayish color. That'll be where grass is and everything, so you're not seeing any grass yet, but as time goes on, you'll start seeing grass pop there as well. They're still working on finishing up the back of the building, landscaping back there with the bark and everything. So that's going to be ongoing for the next couple of weeks for them to get that project going, because they have to make sure they time it when kids and everything aren't there, because big machinery will have kids glued to those windows like no other. So they're trying to be very focused on doing it when it's appropriate. Which brings us over to Woodland. And if you drive by Woodland, you'll see the building slowly starting to come up out of the ground. So here I'm standing up on a dirt pile, trying to get the whole picture. I need to get a drone is what I decided. Get a good view of the whole building, but pretty much the foundation, the footings are in place, which is awesome. They are tracking right where we want them to track, a little bit ahead. Knock on some wood real quick, but things are going really good there. Very happy with the progress. So see, this is the foundation. This is actually on the north side of the building looking south. Things are looking good, so you're gonna see, this is probably, if I'm correct, this is going to be the gym area on this building. You got some steel going up, which is exciting to see. Now there's a lot more pillars, a lot more steel hanging in the air, which is good. They're moving right along. Later this week, you'll start seeing block show up, and the masons will start throwing block down, and you'll really start seeing the building coming out of the ground as they start laying that block. And they'll start measuring how many blocks they lay per day and start figuring out how fast that block will go up. And once they get all that figured out, then we'll make sure we have the other trades start showing up on site, electrician to put in the rough-ins and the walls and those type of things. So it'll start picking up there. You'll start seeing a lot more traffic in and out of that site as the building gets going. Let's see, here's another picture. This one just had a lot of walls, so I thought it was a nice picture. If you look to the, is there a little, yes there is. It doesn't show up on there. Does it show up on there? There we go. Right here, there's the elevator shaft going in. That's right here, and then you got some other stuff taking place in the background there, bathrooms, and you can kind of see the slope to the wall. That's because the building slopes down to the next level there and everything. So there's a lot going on. They're doing a great job catching all the little details to make sure the foundation is solid. And then this is a panoramic shot that I tried to take. Again, looking forward to eventually getting a drone up in the air to get some good shots of that. But you can kind of see the whole building. When I took this, they were 95% done with the foundation. They said they're going to finish that up last week, Friday. So I took these Thursday before I headed out for the day. So that is that update on that. So it was a real quick one. Is there any questions about the projects that are taking place or anything I can help answer?
Looking good.
Awesome.
All right, Paula will talk to us about our 2019 bond proceeds.
Good evening, Board of Ed and Superintendent Edwards. Included in your board packet memo was an update regarding 2019 unallocated contingency dollars. We've come to the board over the last few years with specific projects to use those dollars for. And Johnny came in June, I think it was the June 30th meeting, to purchase musical instruments. So we've put through POs to order all of those. But we've been highly advised by legal counsel and our auditors to spend down those funds as soon as possible. So I would like to make a recommendation to the board that we allocate demolition costs for Central Outlet and Woodland back to 2019 unallocated contingency. This aligns with the ballot language. I would allocate a portion now to pay for the musical instruments. Once all the musical instruments are paid for, I would come back and hopefully spend that down to zero as close as possible. So I'd like to share this idea with the board, this recommendation, and just so you're informed and aware.
Glad you're on top of it.
Yep.
Paula, about how much is left unspent?
There was 1.3 million before the instruments. The instruments were 370,000. The first invoice for the demolition costs will be 585,000. So I'm pretty close to spending everything down, but I'll have a little bit left over in interest earnings. I gotta make sure we're caught up for arbitrage rebate, and then I'll just come in and swoop everything down. But we were at 1.3 million before we started the instrument purchase and the demolition costs.
Well, the news is good. We came in under budget, so we have some residuals left over, and I know it's kind of complicated, and there's all kinds of law and court precedent and all that as to how we can spend that, so I'm glad you're on it. Look forward to it.
Any other questions?
And Russ back again to talk about our new bus app.
Good evening again. Here to talk about the My Ride K-12 app that the Transportation Department launched this past fall. Right, you know, they launched it a little bit before school started. So we're starting.
I'm waiting for it to connect.
Okay, we'll be up there in a second here. But the, while it's waiting, I'll kind of go over the background and the reasoning. The Transportation Department really wanted to find an app that would allow them to communicate effectively with their parents, so they could send information to the parents. That was probably one of the primary reasons they wanted to get that information to the parents, but they also wanted to be able to focus that information to the parents that needed it. So if they had a bus delay or something, they wanted to be able to say, bus number 52 is going to be 10 minutes late. Bam, it went out. Instead of sending it to everyone, they wanted to send it to the parents on that bus. So that's one of the things they were focused on. And then they also wanted, before school started, and really the primary focus was before school started, to be able to communicate to the parents what their route times are, so when they're going to be picked up, where their bus stop location is, and what bus they're assigned to. So the app, their goal was to have the app hold all that information in it. And then they wanted to be able to communicate quickly to parents, so if there was a 10-minute delay, they didn't want to spend 10, 15 minutes writing it out to the parents where the bus already came and went at that point. So this app allows them for that really quick, responsive communication when needed. So that was kind of the reason and their goal for going to the app. So they went to the K-12, MyRide K-12, and here's the impact. They have over 2,000 parents currently using the app. That's the number of unique phones that it's downloaded on. Which is really, really good. I think the ridership is right around that 2,900 mark, so I got about 900 parents potentially not using it. But it's a pretty good start for only being in service for a few weeks now. So they're seeing a huge decrease in the number of contacts, like the phones at the office. People are able to check the app, get the information, and they're good. So they've been really happy with that because they can send quick information out to parents, and parents aren't calling trying to figure out where the bus is at and everything because they were able to get it out in a timely manner. And then, so that it's basically it's reducing the amount of phone calls they're taking with the app is what they've been happy with so far. The features that they're using, again, these are the features that are currently in use here at Portage. Bus information, so parents can go on the app, they'll get their bus number, their stop location, their pickup time, and then any targeted communication to the parents, like your bus is 10 minutes late, we need to change bus 52 to bus 35 because 52, anytime they need to change anything, they can get that information out. So that's the starting, that's kind of how they're starting it. As we work through the system, we're looking at exploring some additional things with the app, because the app is pretty powerful. We're just basically touching the surface right now. So we want to be able to do it. So right now we tell the parents your bus is at roughly 7:45 in the morning. Well, with the active GPS and everything, with the app and the tablets that the kids will use, if we go in that route, you can actually track the bus and say your bus will be there in 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, get outside, your bus is almost there kind of thing. So they can live track the bus, which is nice. The one that I really like is the student attendance tracking. This would be the ability for, as kids get on the bus, they would tag in with like an RFID card that they're on the bus, and then the parents can see when they get on the bus and when they get off the bus, which is kind of nice, and it also tells where they got on location-wise and where they got off location-wise. Vice versa, if they tap on the wrong bus, it'd be like, this isn't your bus. So it would prevent people getting off at the wrong stop, getting on the wrong bus, and those type of things. So those are things we're looking at with the app, and then we talked about real-time bus location, and then kind of a fun one was just the bus driver's name, so parents can know if they know the bus driver's name when the kid picks them up. It's kind of nice. So those are some of the features that we're looking to explore as we move forward. I'm guessing you're going to hear me up here talking about how we want to move forward with some of these in the future. Here's some of what the app looks like. So think of this as a screenshot of your phone. So when you log into the app, you have your student. You click on your student, it shows the different stop locations or different information. So tomorrow's ride, the next day, and you can click on that. And when you click on that, you get the information that tells you about the route. So very simple to use. Once you log in, once you put your student's credentials in there, you can kind of see what they have for transportation. And then a couple more screenshots. This is that scan feature we talked about. It's obviously not available yet for us, but when and if we eventually go to that, that'll show up right there where parents will be able to go see when the kids stand on the bus and when they scanned off the bus. And then the push notifications, this is something we're using a lot. We use test a few times and whatnot. On this one student, don't worry, we just send it to all the parents. But you can target this stuff. And this is actually Sean McDonald's daughter that is not, he just registered her so he could play with the account and see how it works. But that's what the push notifications will look like. You know, it sends it out, you get the notification, it's kind of going on. So that's the app in a nutshell. It's a very useful app for the transportation department. It really reduces the number of phone calls just asking, like, where's my bus at, those type of things, because they're able to send that communication out quickly. And then start of year really reduces the number of calls to the office of parents trying to figure out their bus locations, their bus stop time, and their bus number, because it's all right there in the app. Is there any questions I can answer about the app?
Do we know if we're an early adopter of this, or are a number of districts doing it already?
This is out there. It's been out there for a little bit.
Okay.
I
Great.
know of a couple other districts that use this, and it's very beneficial for parent concerns.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we're big researching right now in terms of how we want to get tablets on every bus, because the tablets on the bus allow the other features to work. We'll have to pay for the features, but we want to really get that. For me, it's the ridership, like knowing when kids get off and on and off the bus, especially for the little ones. That's kind of like, my kids are at that age right now, and I'm like, if they got on a bus, I'm pretty sure Wyatt would get off the bus stop where his friends did, because he wants to go talk to them.
Yeah.
I really like it. I think anything that promotes communication between any staff member, and our bus drivers are staff members, and parents and families. I think it's good.
As a young child, I was let off at the wrong stop after being prevented from getting off at my appropriate stop, and ended up on a overly busy road with a police officer driving me home. I appreciate the ability for parents to then track what is going on, because I know that my mother was not happy with that. And that was not with Portage. That's good. But it was a very stressful situation. And so I appreciate you thinking about that proactively.
Thank you. And really, this is the head of transportation, Sean McDowell. This was his baby. It was all in place before he even got here.
That's awesome.
Just making his helping him
Kudos
finish
to
up
him.
some of the things. Thank you. I'll pass this on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to our comments and communications section. I think we have some folks that want to address the board this evening. And our first speaker tonight is Kat Frank, president of the PEA. Welcome, Kat.
Good evening. I'm excited to share with you a handful of what our fabulous educators have been up to since the last time I was here. The Portage Central Marching Band Invitational was held here at PC on Saturday and was a great success. My students were so excited to tell me about it this morning. Mr. Van Tol and Mrs. Russell hosted an amazing event with the help of, they said, about 150 dedicated staff and volunteers. Although everyone had to pivot to being indoors and work through a lightning delay, all of my students this morning said it was a great time, so thanks to Brian and Deanna for organizing all of that. Timmery Fuller at Central L wanted to share that moving into a new building with a new setup, new furniture, new everything has been a challenge, but such an amazing gift from an even more amazing community. She shared that, quote, "We have more space to support students and our teachers are working together like never before. We hope that all elementaries get to experience these new and updated facilities soon." James Phillips, who's a club advisor at Portage Central High, shared that his students are very excited for the first D&D and Gamers Club meeting, which is tomorrow. Students get together to play electronic and tabletop games with each other for about an hour after school. So big thanks to James for facilitating that creative social opportunity for all of our students. Sarah Knott, who's an art teacher at Portage Northern, wants me to share how awesome her IB art students are. Each year, to break the ice between IB Visual Arts 1 and 2, students in that combined section class, they get together to get their creative juices flowing. They have to design and create full body costumes out of index cards and Scotch tape. And I visited her about 2 weeks ago and saw some of them in progress. She just sent me some pictures of the final project, so best use of color copying ever. I have those attached so you can see some of the incredible outfits that these kids made from index cards and tape. So way to go, Sarah, and those kids. She said, this activity lets students have a fun and collaborative start to an otherwise academically rigorous, independent, and challenging class. And lastly, the PEA is participating in the Adopt a Highway program again this week. Hopefully the rain holds off for us. We're planning on cleaning up on Thursday from about 4:30 to 6. We've got our stretch of US 131 near Center Street. If anyone here or watching this wants to participate, you can email me at portageeducationassociation@gmail.com, and I will get you all of the information to help out. Thank you.
Thanks, Kat.
Thank you, Kat. Thanks for sharing all the good news. We appreciate it. Thank you. Our next speaker tonight is Lindsay Zerber. Welcome.
I'm here tonight to once again ask this district to stop the repeated use of violent texts in our schools. As we have been going through the curriculum, one thing has become abundantly clear. Fish Tank has no problem putting violence in front of children time and again, beginning in first grade. I have brought with me Nazarene's Secret School, a book included in a first grade unit being used by our district. This book depicts a little girl who is terrified as an armed gunman enters her house and takes her dad, never to be seen again. She is so traumatized by this that she stops speaking. Her mother goes out looking for him and again doesn't return, with the book later depicting both parents in the clouds after being killed. First graders in our district will also see images of armed gunmen entering a school, as seen here. Our first graders, including my own daughter, are 6 and 7 years old. To these children, their parents are everything. They are their sense of safety and security, of love and acceptance, and a safe place to land when the world is too much. To my daughter, her dad is her world, and you would force her to have to imagine him being violently taken from her. Is this the best this district has to offer? Portage once symbolized excellence, how we desperately long to return to those days. Those of us in education know that the early years are crucial in a child's learning journey. They should be enjoying stories that will fill them with a love of reading, but this has been stolen from them. Gone are the days of first graders enjoying Dr. Seuss, Eric Carle, and Charlotte's Web. Instead of using this time to introduce essential skills like beginning words and endearing, well-loved characters, we are bringing our children uncertainty and fear. You repeatedly justify this, saying you are helping the children build empathy, but children can learn to be understanding and kind to one another without exposing them to man's depravity at such a young age. If what you share with our children shapes who they are, why would you want them to see so much rage, hatred, and violence? Why wouldn't you want to share what is good, kind, compassionate, and loving? Right now in this nation, we are grieving with 2 children that lost their daddy to this kind of violence. He hugged and kissed them, walked out the door, and never came home. Would you hand them this book? Of the nearly 9,000 kids in this district, how many of their stories do you know? I know of at least 2 children that had their childhood shattered when an armed intruder entered their home and took their father's life. Do you know their names? Do their teachers know their stories? Will you sit there silently as they are handed this book and the fragile grip on childhood they've managed to rebuild is stolen from them again? This world will already give our children enough moments of life-altering pain. You don't need to provide that. Don't force my daughter or anyone else's to wonder every time her dad walks out the door if she will see him again. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Lindsay. Our next speaker is Bethany Metzger. Welcome.
I'm here tonight to address the issue and emotional turmoil this school system has caused in its students since the adoption of the Fish Tank ELA curriculum. These students are already very self-focused. They prioritize themselves and what makes them feel good or what can fix their problems. With constant questions of, how does this make you feel? Their emotions are being focused on, leading to a lack of sympathy and compassion for other people. The constant exposure to violence further desensitizes them from authentic pain, fear, and the feelings of others. Moments that used to spark horror and disbelief are now becoming normal. When all they see is the negative, the virtuous qualities of caring, helping, and loving one another begin to fade. The emotions of compassion and sympathy have been cheapened by a curriculum that believes children can only feel these things if they are being shocked and horrified. They are learning to devalue human lives, especially if someone tries to speak the truth into their lives. This establishes a mindset that people only have value if they think, believe, and support the same things we do. This system has been compounded by the addition of this new violent ELA curriculum. It is furthering the harm done to these students for the sake of diversity. Shouldn't we be teaching these kids to care about the people around them? How can this school system and you as a board sit there and allow this level of violence, hatred, and death into the minds of these young and impressionable children? We want to keep guns out of the schools. We want to keep violence and fighting out of the schools. But we are allowing these kids to read about the same things and even more horrific details than they likely ever would have been exposed to. We are traumatizing the children, giving them nightmares, all for the sake of a diverse curriculum that doesn't even include 80% of your population in most of its units. Many children are already exposed to horrific images and situations long before they should be, and this school system should not be adding to those exposures. It should be protecting these young, impressionable children. This curriculum is hurting children for the sake of books that are not quality literature and stories and videos that are doing nothing more than spreading hatred, propaganda, and violence. It is never too late for a change. You all have the power to take back the classroom and remove this steady stream of violence from our school system for the sake of these kids. Violence can never lead to redemption. Only by shining a bright light on the positive can we ever truly repel the darkness. Give these students a chance to hold on to their innocence and focus on what is good and right for as long as they can, because they are already growing up too fast. Please protect our children.
Thank you, Bethany. And we have written comments there, correct, Barb?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to comments from board trustees.
I have some.
Yeah.
I wrote them down so I wouldn't ramble too much. First of all, Kat, I appreciate you bringing up the PCMI Invitational. I was going to comment on that. First of all, yes, a lot of great performances. They handled the transition from the field to the gym extraordinarily well. And I know some of the bands were a little confused as they came in and still gave very good performances. But even though that impressed me, there was something that impressed me more. And Johnny, hopefully you can pass this on or pass it on to the right people. When I moved into the gym, I had the privilege of sitting behind 7 students who I initially thought were from a completely different district. They were comporting themselves in such a way that I was thoroughly impressed. And the reason I thought they were from a different district is that they kept giving standing ovations to bands that did extremely well. Turns out they were from Portage Northern. And they were there, a group of juniors and seniors from multiple sections who were just there to enjoy the bands and to praise those who did well. I saw them start a couple different standing ovations, start some extra cheering for a band that came in right as the first band to perform after the rain delay, and wanted to give them extra encouragement. So they started a cheer that ended up the entire audience cheering. So very proud of them and what they demonstrated. They demonstrated what we want Portage Public Schools students to be like. And it made me very proud. I also wanted to call attention to Portage Northern High School. Kat, you probably know that they came together to support a staff person who'd had need. And I assume that this happens across our schools, but I thought that that was pretty amazing to go out of their way to do that. And although we don't want there to be a need like that, the fact that they came together when there was a time of need just made me proud to be associated with Portage Public Schools. And kudos to them for doing that in such a way. What I did not have in my notes ahead of time, but you brought up Kat, D&D. Do you realize they have been meeting every week since school started, unofficially on their own, because they just like to get together. They have been meeting at this Portage Library without staff support, doing very well, and I'm sure they are excited to get back at the school. So, kudos to creating such a strong community that they want to meet independently. Proud of them. Okay, those are my comments.
Well, thank you, Kimberly. Anyone else?
Maybe I would just chime in, reminded of the band competition at Central, so cool. And then I recently learned that Northern has been having their competitions as well, and I think they come up in October.
They come up soon.
Yeah, and this had gone on kind of off my radar. What yet another unique benefit of having those facilities and these really neat spin-offs. And yeah, I was looking at the number of schools that attended the Central competition, and it was great. And a lot of local schools,
Yes.
a lot of schools in the county and nearby are coming to that competition too. So that's wonderful. And then I was just reminded that I believe absentee ballots for those who are on the permanent absentee list get mailed at the end of this week. So we will be in election season. So and Johnny, appreciate all the work you and your team are doing to help educate the community on the bond.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bo. Anyone else? I was unable to attend the Haverhill ribbon cutting, and I just want to thank my board members, fellow board members, for being there. And I heard from a lot of people regarding the ribbon cutting, and they just thought it was a great event. And of course, people were impressed by the school, and these informational meetings that are scheduled on the bond are going to be at Central and Haverhill, so community members will have another chance to see the buildings. But I just heard it was a big success, and I was sorry I couldn't be there for it. So, anyone else? Okay, we'll move to our consent agenda, and our consent agenda is pretty simple this evening. It's the September 8th, 2025 Committee of the Whole work session and closed session. Are there any exceptions to the consent agenda as presented? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. We'll now move to our first action item, which is proclamations. This is a first for the board. We're going to use one motion for all 4 proclamations, but we're going to have opportunities for trustees to read over those proclamations as we go through this. And given that we need a motion, there's one on page 10, please.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve as presented the following proclamations. National School Lunch Week Proclamation, School Bus Safety Week Proclamation, Red Ribbon Week Proclamation,
Good
and
job.
and the National Principals Month Proclamation.
Thank you, Kimberly. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Do we have a volunteer, please, to read the proclamation for National School Lunch Week?
We can start at this end of the table and we'll work our way down.
Oh no. Does that mean that I get red ribbon? Oh yeah.
All right. Proclamation for National School Lunch Week is October 13th through the 17th, 2025. Whereas the school nutrition program plays a vital role in supporting student health, well-being, and academic success. And whereas each day our food service professionals prepare and serve thousands of meals while maintaining the highest standards of nutrition, safety, and customer care. And whereas these dedicated employees demonstrate professionalism, patience, and skill in meeting the daily needs of students and staff. And whereas National School Lunch Week provides an opportunity to recognize the contributions of our school nutrition professionals and to raise awareness of their impact on education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education proudly proclaims October 13th through the 17th, 2025 as National School Lunch Week, and commends our food service professionals whose service ensures the success of our school nutrition program. Proclaimed this 22nd day of September 2025, Portage Public Schools Board of Education.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Is there a volunteer to read the School Bus Safety Week proclamation?
I can. Proclamation, School Bus Safety Week, October 20th to 24th, 2025. Whereas school transportation professionals, including managers, drivers, mechanics, and support staff, play a critical role in ensuring the safe travel of students each day. And whereas transporting students across numerous routes requires skill, responsibility, patience, and unwavering dedication. And whereas our transportation team has established a proud record of safety and excellence, consistently meeting the highest standards during state inspections. And whereas School Bus Safety Week provides an opportunity to thank our transportation staff and to remind all motorists of the importance of obeying school bus safety laws. And now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education proclaims October 20th to 24th, 2025 as School Bus Safety Week, recognizes the dedication of our transportation professionals in ensuring student safety, and calls upon all citizens to drive responsibly and support efforts that protect students traveling to and from school. Proclaimed this 22nd day of September 2025, Portage Public Schools Board of Education.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a volunteer to read the red ribbon?
You would
Well, you're
prefer.
going to do it?
Yes. Proclamation of the Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through 31st annually. Whereas Red Ribbon Week is observed nationwide each year from October 23rd to 31st to promote drug prevention and awareness, and whereas substance abuse among youth, including tobacco, alcohol, and prescription drug misuse, remains a serious concern, and whereas prevention education and open communication between parents and children significantly reduce the likelihood of drug use, and whereas communities across the nation demonstrate their commitment to a healthy, drug-free lifestyle by participating in Red Ribbon Week activities. And now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Portage Public Schools does hereby support Red Ribbon Week and encourages Portage citizens to participate in drug prevention and education activities, showing our commitment to a drug-free community through education about the dangers of drug abuse and by setting a good example. Proclaimed this 22nd day of September 2025, Portage Public Schools Board of Education.
Nice job, thank you.
That was well done. Never sounded like Elmer Fudd once.
Just when making the motion.
Yes. Yeah.
And is there a volunteer to read the proclamation for Principals Month?
Randy, I
Not
would,
just a week, it's a whole month.
I would appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Proclamation, Principals Month, October 2025. Whereas strong and inspiring leadership is essential to the success of our schools and to preparing students for achievement during their pre-K through 12 years and beyond. And whereas principals serve as instructional leaders, visionaries, community builders, managers, and advocates for students, ensuring that schools meet the highest educational and operational standards. And whereas principals set the academic tone for their schools and work collaboratively with teachers and parents to develop and implement a clear mission, high curriculum standards, and performance goals. And whereas principals play a vital role in the success of students by creating school environments that facilitate great teaching and learning, as well as continuous school improvement. And whereas the dedication of principals is reflected in the success of students, the strength of school communities, and the recognition of student achievement. And whereas Principals Month provides an opportunity to honor the important role of school leaders and to express gratitude for their work and dedication to education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby proclaims October 2025 as Principals Month in the Portage Public School District and commends all of our principals for their service and commitment to educating our students. Every student, every future. Proclaim this 22nd day of September 2025, Portage Public Schools Board of Education.
Thank you, Bo. Is there any discussion?
I just want to make a comment. I don't want to minimize the other ones at all because all four proclamations are important. But in the Principals Month one here, it commented that the principals set the tone of the school. And as an educator, I see this regularly, fortunately, in a good way. But it is so important to the school culture and climate for the staff to have administration that sets that positive tone. And I'm very glad that we have highlighted that in this proclamation.
Very true, thank you. I happened to read a study on the importance of principals, and it's scary when I read educational studies, but the study said that principals are second only to teachers among in-school factors affecting student achievement. So thank you to all our principals. Thank you to our great food service staff, Susan, and thank you to all our bus drivers and keeping our kids safe. And we certainly are supportive of Red Ribbon Week and anything we can do to reduce the use of drugs. So it's all good stuff. Any other comments? With that then, all in favor of approving the 4 proclamations, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The proclamations are approved. And our next item is administrator compensation increase, and I think Brad's going to help us with that one.
Good evening, trustees. Superintendent Edwards, good to be with you again. So, as previously discussed, administrator compensation, we do not finalize that typically until we have all of our collective bargaining agreements settled. With our recent settlement with the PEA, it was our final one of the 4 to be settled for the year. We are asking the board to approve, mirroring the PEA, an overall 4% increase for the administrative group. There is one exception this year. We do salary reviews on a routine basis of our groups. And our elementary principals, we were actually recommending a 6.38% increase for the elementary principal group. And that they are the only ones of this group that would be different than the 4%. So as we've looked at their counterparts around the state and around the region, we felt like they were falling a little bit behind of our starting salaries in that area. So we are recommending a little bit of a different increase for them. Does not change anything else for their, in terms of their calendar or anything else, just for the increase on their scale at this point.
Questions for Brad?
I mean, just a brief comment. Brad and the admin team, thank you, and PEA. I know, I mean, it took a little bravery from all parties there to get a contract done while the state budget is not yet done. And so that had to occur to set the stage for this, right? The administrative contracts kind of flow from that. So a lot of people worked very hard and very much appreciated that. You know, this is one of the fewer districts that has this issue dealt with now, so.
It is.
Very much appreciated.
We have our new teachers go through a new teacher academy, and we got a question last week. We had our first session, and one of our new teachers asking, with the state budget, what does that mean? And so we're fortunate. We have a good fund balance. We can move forward with doing things. And he asked that question to everybody, but then shared with me after. He has colleagues that he went to school with that are in smaller districts that they do not have that assurance. So we're very fortunate to be in a spot like that with the fund balance we have, that we can wait out a little bit of a state shutdown. So.
Good. There's a motion, please, on page 15.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education authorize a salary increase of 4% for the administrative group, with the exception of elementary principals, who shall receive a 6.38% increase as determined by a salary review.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor of the administrator compensation increase, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. And we'll now move to our last item on the agenda, a discussion item about purchasing vans, and I think Ralph is coming up again.
And again, so I gotta keep this quick. The Lions game starts in a little over an hour. And so we have a little bit of a drive to get to that. So, joking a little. Anyway, looking at the van purchase request, a couple weeks ago, the district went out for bid for some passenger vans, some 10-passenger vans. We got 7 bids, 7 competitive bids, which is great. The district would like to recommend the board approve the purchase of 3 vans for a total of $200,643, and that money would come from the building site and sinking fund, the 2024 version. And those of you guys aren't familiar, the 2024 version actually allows the district to be able to buy vans, buses, and technology, along with even the buildings operational as well. So that's we'll be using that to purchase those 3 vans. A little background about the vans: the district currently has 9 vans they operate. You guys replaced 3 vans earlier this year. This will be replacing 3 more of those vans. Those vans are well over 10 years old. pretty much ending their useful life for the district. So it's time to replace those 3 vans. It'll take a few months to get them in. More than likely, they'll come in 2026. We are looking at purchasing 2026 model vans. They have all the all-wheel drive for safe winter driving. They'll have rear camera mounts in them, increased visibility and different things like that for when you back up. So they'll be well-equipped vans. They actually have cruise control in these ones. So when the coaches are having to drive long distances, they can set that cruise and don't have to worry about getting a little too fast for the traffic, just a natural lead foot kind of thing. So the cruise control will be great in those as well. But that's a recommendation. We want to bring it to reading it tonight, discuss it with you guys tonight. You guys have any questions about the vans?
Do we typically replace 3 vans every year? Is that?
No, we only have 9 vans total. 9, that's right. Oh, it's getting late. So we only have 9 vans. It's been a long time since you replaced. I think the ones that are left in the fleet, so we'll replace 3 earlier. This will replace 3 more. The last 3 that are left is a 2006, a 2012, and a 2012. So I'm guessing you'll probably see me up here within a year or so asking to replace the last 3 vans. So we have very functional vans for our teams to take across the state. And those things are checked out constantly, especially during the winter season as we travel the state for competition.
So we expect them to be functional for the district for 10, 15, 12 years?
The goal is we ride them as long as we can. Van usage has gone up over the last year, over the decade. More teams are utilizing the vans to get places, so they're getting a little more wear and tear. Do we hope they last 10, 12 years? Yes, we obviously hope they do, but time will tell with anything. I feel some stuff doesn't quite last as long as it used to.
It's a mileage thing.
Mileage thing.
And Russ, these are for teams and clubs that don't have so many participants that you need a bus.
Yeah,
right?
different things can happen. Cross-country team going to like the state meet might take a van because you only are allowed to run 7, but they might have 50-some on their team, but 7 of the varsity runners that are running might take a van to get there earlier, get inside the stadium because you drive through a tunnel, and the bus might follow with the rest of the team. But you also have golf team that would take the van where they have very few athletes competing and things like that.
Would the board be agreeable to take this item to action tonight? Because we have a motion to take it to action, please.
Mr. President, I move that we take the van purchase to an action item.
Thank you, Bo. Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Purchase of the vans is now an action item. Is there a motion, please?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the purchase of 3 10-passenger vans from Tapper Ford LLC for a total of $200,643 to come from the 2024 Building Site and Seeking Fund.
Thank you, Kimberly. Is there a second?
I second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor of purchasing the new vans, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. The vans are on the way, and we've completed our agenda, and we're adjourned. Thank you.
Shredding.